Hello everybody, it's your Transpalgish CB here, and for the last couple of years, I've been making videos about all the art I've made for Artfight. Usually I would go over each one individually, but because of the amount that I had this year, I'm going to change it up a bit. I usually like to create a similar motif for all the pieces, but I got tired of the first motif I came up with halfway through and switched it up. Then did a totally different concept, so I pretty much did 3 years worth of specific Artfight styles in one. Why? I honestly don't know, and I probably will never do this again because this was a lot. But because of this, I've split them into sets, and I'll go over each one along with some other stuff rather than going over each artwork individually. But first, let's talk about all the lovely art that I received and give some shoutouts and thank yous. Thank you so much to J Juicebox for this drawing of Blank. So pretty. I love the concept of drawing them in as small on their actual staff. That's really cool. Thank you to Lituines, I think I said that right, for this drawing of North. I love the texture and I love the clock in the clock motif in the background because their whole thing is with time. Thought that was awesome. This is really cool. Thank you so much to Micah_Strawberry for this drawing of Lie. Very fitting for him. Like that you did the fully pink background. That's very suiting to him. Thank you so much to RW7N, I think, for this drawing of Captain. Looks great. Love it. Love the shading on them. Yeah, it looks super awesome. Thank you to Skull Eater 69 for this drawing of E.V.A and Tara. Love the scene you drew them in. I love that you drew them together. Looks awesome. Thank you for this. Thank you to the Fox Raven for drawing Zach, this full body drawing of Zach. Love the details, and I love how you drew in a lineless style here. And yeah, I love the facial expression, very suiting to them. Thank you to Clock-Work- for this drawing of E.V.A, of them actually painting. Love that detail. I did put in their bio that they like to paint, and yeah, I love that you drew that here. Thank you to Kiyamoto for this drawing of Echo. So pretty. I love how she was drawn here. Love the detail. She kind of looks like, I forget her name, Polaris, I think, from the X-Men, which is awesome. Love that vibe. Thank you to Laurel Dreams for this drawing of North. I love how you did the grayscale with the pops of blue. I do that a lot in my drawings, and I love seeing that here, and I like the fire being the main lighting source. So cool. Love it. Thank you to Sugar Phoenix for this drawing of North as well. In the description, they said that this was slightly inspired by The Last Unicorn for the retro vibes, and I commented that's really funny because their North in general was inspired by that. So super cool. Love it a lot. I love the background, very sparkly. And finally, thank you to Rose Tea Petals for this drawing of Leo. Love how they look here in the style. Super cool. And yeah, that is everything. That is all the attacks, and you'll see some of my revenges for some of these attacks as well as we continue to the first set of artworks. For this first set, I did simple portraits of everyone with a circle in the background. The order that I'm showing here are not the order I drew them here, and you'll probably notice that throughout. These are fairly simple, but I tried drawing them all in interesting poses. For a lot of these, the circle ended up being the main light source, giving them a cool backlight effect. A couple of these I went with something I do in my traditional art and do a monochromatic palette with a specific color used for accents and to make things pop. Something I like to do is to take inspiration from the art in the profile of these characters and also the rough sheet for the background and vibe. And you'll probably see that here. There are more of these than the others because it's what I started with and I had the most energy to do all of them. But they were all really cool to do. these were simple to draw as far as like the actual composition, so I focused a lot more on rendering, which was very helpful for me for practicing. While the rest of this set is playing out, I'll talk about how this year's Artfight helped me a ton with my art. So you've probably been able to tell, and I think I've talked about it, but I have been struggling quite a bit with my rendering and shading style. I've been trying out different things, going back to my original one, tweaking it, but nothing was feeling right. So I took the opportunity to try out several things while drawing these and finally landed on it halfway through. I think I'm really happy with actually having done a lot of artworks this year for that reason. It doesn't look too much different from my old style aside from a couple of things, but it feels so much more fun to do. Lately I've also been experimenting with line art. I found this super cool brush. You'll actually see me using it here a couple times, and I've been debating whether I want to use that as my main brush for artworks, but I think I'll switch between that and my normal Candela pen for artworks because I do still love that one, and it makes the artworks just look a lot more crisp, which is what I like in some drawings, but some of them I do like the more painterly style. So yeah. Now, if you're curious how I got all of these done, it's because I've been taking a bit of a break from my comics. I've been having massive issues with all of them. I wasn't really liking any of them. Drawing them felt like a chore, and I'd gotten to the point where I realized that I was dealing with burnout. So I took a break from them, which actually didn't really last that long because soon after I wanted to get back into drawing comics, but I felt so burnt out of the stories still. So I've been also working on revising one of them to be how I really want the story to be and what to do as far as drawing the pages. I will be posting a big video about that, but right now, a lot of my current comics are going to be on hiatus or put on hold, and I'll be focusing on just one. Again, I'll talk about that more in a future video. The final thing I kind of wanted to chat about is about the Artfight site itself. For a while now, I've been wanting to find a good place to essentially store my OCs, their art and info and everything, but could not find the right place. But I feel it's pretty obvious that it should just be my Artfight account. They're all on there, I can edit them and have all their info there. They just added a new connections feature where you can link other characters and describe their relationship easily. And even cooler is that you can see all the art that other people have drawn of them right there. So that will be where all my OCs, current and future, will be placed. So if you're confused about a character I'm drawing or talk about, you can find their information there. And I'll be sure to include my profile in my link tree, which I've been debating on switching over to card because I've been hearing Linktree isn't very good right now. AI stuff going on there, of course. What the hell? I can't escape it. So I might switch it over, but you'll see that in the description below when I do change that. The next set was done in a very different format, most of them being in a vertical format and 2 of them being horizontal with the entire character in it. These I felt ended up being much more dynamic, and what I've actually done before in the past is very similar to, I believe, what I did for 2024. I think that's the year I did the more vertical format. I did that for all of the drawings. And yeah, the horizontal pieces ended up mirroring each other, and the characters I ended up drawing for each ended up being similar in my style, so that's funny. But yeah, these ended up being more dynamic and was fun to draw after doing a bunch of more, I would say, simpler portraits. But no like favoritism towards any of the characters I drew. Obviously, I like them all a lot. It's just my own art that I'm talking about here. The final set I did something completely different. It's a format you'll see in a lot of sketchbook art and from artists I follow on Instagram. It's kind of like making a digital sketchbook spread slash collage of where everything is about one or more characters. I've also seen these called like character spreads before, or character like pages. You'll know what I mean once you'll see the artworks of them. These were super fun to work on as it gave me a chance to really draw these characters out, and they look really cool. I think I'll definitely continue doing this format for next year's Artfight. I typically ended up doing one half body shot that took up the majority of the page, a close-up in their eye, a horizontal scene on the bottom, and maybe a symbolism of some sort. I obviously kept the shading simpler with these, but they did actually still take a long while. I think the reason why is because what I was doing for a lot of these was keeping the sketch super simple, being just the anatomy and the eye so I know where they're placed, and then the line art having the rest of the detail. But I don't think that really worked well here as far as saving time, because the last couple I ended up sketching fully, and that ended up taking up a lot less time. So I think in the future for Artfight, if I'm going to continue using this format, I will just do normal sketches because that is faster. I'm also including my last few miscellaneous artworks here that didn't have a theme like the others. A couple of them were last minute revenges that I wanted to draw before the end of the month, and I only had a few days to draw them, so they're much more simpler, except for one of them, which was a design me NOC prompt, which I haven't done before, but I wanted to do that because it sounded fun. And the very final one I ended up drawing a whole scene for, which is what I like doing for my final attacks. I like making them a bit more of full illustrations. This one was really fun to work on, but also challenging because I have not drawn a full scene background in quite a while. I do need to get back to doing that because I realize I have not done that in quite a bit. and that was all of the art that I made this year. It was a lot, but like I said, it was pretty helpful for my actual finding my style, I guess. And yeah, I will probably not draw this many again next year. Maybe I will. I thought about doing mass attacks, like the animation kinds you see on YouTube. I thought about doing that. I might do that. Let me know if you'd like to see that. But yeah, we'll see what next year holds. And thanks again so much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe. You can always subscribe to see more. If you like the new editing style I'm experimenting with here, let me know. I've thought about switching up my video screen recording style, where I just use the in-program recorder, so it doesn't take up as much space on my computer, and it makes editing a little bit easier and maybe a little less strain on the eyes as well for anyone watching. But let me know. And before I go, thanks as always to Chip and Strat for supporting me on Patreon. If you would also like to support me on Patreon, I have my videos up there for early access. And once I get back into comic making, I will be posting some exclusive comic stuff there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.